Senior Hour. I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS. And our guest now is Kim Wall, and she's an alternative medicine advocate.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Kim.
And that's a mouthful.
It really is. Now say it 10 times fast.
I couldn't say it twice.
No, the
without
best
getting it mixed up.
when people say
That's why
homeopathy and they say what? Homeopathy.
Well, even
like cures like.
alternative medicine advocate. That's a mouthful.
It is. It is. And that's a lovely name you've all created for me.
Yes.
So how y'all doing? You know how
Doing
melting
good.
away?
Fine.
Yeah, and we are, and that was one of the topics we started off the show with was hydration. And maybe, Kim, you can, advise us and our senior listeners about how the things they can do where they can hydrate, but also make it in a way that is beneficial to them.
Oh, and it's so simple and so inexpensive that you can pick up a bottle of just liquid trace minerals at Sprouts or Whole Foods or Amazon and add a few drops of that to your water, and that will hydrate you better than some of the things we get in bottles that have other chemicals and flavorings to it. Mm-hmm. Trace minerals, unfortunately, we don't get them anymore because we used to get them through our food because our earth was minerally rich. Mm-hmm. And then we used to also get it from our water, which used to be well or spring type water that was the filtration process was through the earth. Mm-hmm. So those minerals filtered it, but it also made that water whole, life-bringing water. Right. Our water today is so stripped. Even things like, a lot of people think like reverse osmosis water is really good to drink because you've cleaned everything out of it. But unfortunately, what happens by doing that process, you strip everything out of it, and it makes the water acid. Mm-hmm. So if I had that water, if I put some trace minerals in that water, I'll actually bring the pH of that water up and make that water a better water to drink than just straight reverse osmosis water. And it's a very inexpensive thing to buy, and a little, goes a long way.
And just making sure our seniors understand that the body has a miraculous way of taking care of itself. And when however we're taking fluids and whether it's got a lot of minerals or not, when they deionize it and do those things and there's no minerals in it, well, that's fine. But when we're adding trace minerals, the body, if your body doesn't want it, the kidneys get rid of it.
Well, and too much trace mineral, and too many trace minerals. The one company that I really like, Trace Mineral Company, they talk about a protocol you can do to see how depleted you really are in these minerals, and we don't even realize it because it is through the food system as well. But they actually recommend doing a protocol, and you take the minerals every single day to a point where it gives you diarrhea, and you know that's your body's saturation point. And whatever that amount of drops is, let's say it's 80 drops, then you take 80 drops and you drink 80 drops throughout the day, not at one serving to stress the system, but all through the day, so the body's absorbing that. And you do that for a month, and they say keep track of what you might notice, and you'd be quite surprised what things might change because like you said, the trace minerals, when we look at our body as an electromagnetic machine, those trace minerals help nerves and other pathways fire, react, your muscles to contract, your muscles to relax, your body to create other things. So those are like critical. It's like trying to grow a garden in sand. You're going to fight that. You're not going to get anywhere because there's no nutrients in that sand to bring life to the seed, to the plant. So we're that same living human being. And unfortunately, a lot of the stuff we do consume sometimes drink-wise to hydrate ourselves is a diuretic. Things like iced tea and even iced coffee and certain things
they're diuretics.
Right. So it's not not even truly, even like I said, you're thinking, oh, I'm having an iced tea or something that way.
And I'm hydrating, but guess what?
But if it's a black
coming out
tea,
the other end.
Exactly. So we can look at things. One of my very favorite things that I do, and I've done it for many years, and I got into it because the research was originally created to help people detoxify from radiation treatment. And the product's called Cell Food. And you can get it at local health food stores and stuff. And there's a lot of servings in the little bottle. So when you see the price of it, it's usually $25, $30. You think, oh my gosh, but there's 90 servings in this bottle. But what's amazing is it has all your trace minerals in it. It has your amino acids. It has the raw nutrients that are, again, what we would get if we were eating rich, healthy produce and drinking water that was coming fresh out of that well, so that our cells have twofold. Those minerals kind of got like a little negative charge to them. So when they get into the body and we have that free radical damage, or we have that antioxidant, that oxidation going on, these are like little antioxidants. They go in there and they bind to those missing neurons, the negative ones, to help create wholeness in the cell. And if we don't put in things, and that allows the body to detoxify heavy metals or radiation or other pollutants that are around in our environment. And if we're not getting those trace minerals and not drinking enough fluid, period, then the body isn't going to have that rejuvenation. It's not going to have that good cell-to-cell communication. We're going to start to see things back up. And as you know, as a physician, when people get older, kidney issues are a huge problem in America today. And a lot of that has to do that people don't realize they're doing so many stimulants in these drinks that are power drinks and this and that, and toxic things in their diet or cleaning, that kidney is under so much stress. And if it's not getting that good water that's coming with all that negative minerals to flush everything out, then we're going to get things like kidney stones and bone spurs and toxicity that might show up all the way to the point of skin issues or mental, because this up here again is an important tool, the brain, and it needs a lot of good fats. And it's about balance. If we're not getting those little trace neuron stimulators to get the electricity going in the body, then we don't have that energy flow.
And there was a reminder as we were both looking at you, we're facing outward from the studio, and there's a sidewalk, and somebody just ran by. And I don't know what the temperature is, but, they're exercising, and that's one of the key things. When you exercise and bring circulation to your whole body, let alone the kidneys, your body is going to do better. It's going to function better. The gastrointestinal tract, the brain, the heart, everything.
And when you work out like that, do you know that it's actually really important that when you're done working out and you're perspiring, to let that perspiration dry on your skin and go a few hours if you can before you shower, so you reabsorb those minerals that the body might have excreted out. And again, it's understanding how does our body work. And you bet, and that's why it's important to do protein. We don't want to be out running and doing things like that without hydrating and putting protein in the body, because it'll damage the muscles, will damage the kidneys.
It allows it to replenish.
Exactly. It allows that regrowth and that rejuvenation, because we're breaking down and rebuilding. But again, I think hydration is one of those things that people don't really realize. If you were to maybe put it in a jug in front of you of, how much water I'm supposed to drink. Water, not soda, not anything else. Now, if you're drinking, water. If you're drinking an herbal tea, let's say, that's maybe made out of like hibiscus, okay, which is super rich in vitamin C, I would consider that. I wouldn't have any issue with that not being a water serving, It's when we do things like a black tea or things like that are more of a diuretic. And then if we load that up with a whole bunch of maybe fake sugar, don't do that. If you want a little sweetness, maybe get a really nice raw sugar or a raw honey. And what I do when I make a sun tea outside and I put mint and other things in my hibiscus in my jar, I put a little scoop of honey in there and I let it sit out in the hot sun. And sure enough, that honey will dissolve in there and I give it a shake and that's it. Once you change your palate and look at what you're eating, you'll realize how sweet certain things are, because people don't realize how much sugar they consume in things like, their drinks or whatever.
That's very true. Or even eating potatoes.
Anything. So much sugar that our taste buds have become so desensitized that we think we've got to put all that in there, that you've forgotten the taste of the sweetness of a strawberry or a cherry or something like that, because you're used to a commercially prepared 800 milligrams of whatever sugar in there, but again, if we look at just the simplicity, and sugar is one of those things that is an oxidizer. Sugar is one of those things that aren't going to help the cells rejuvenate. It's not going to help with the hydration. So like I said, if you want to make something, make it something that you'll do. I'm not going to drink. Okay, well then that's fine. But find something as simple. You know what? I love my, seltzer water, let's say. Well, seltzer water is not that bad of a thing. Certain blood types, it's actually beneficial. So you take and put a couple drops of minerals in there. Great. Your salad, put some trace minerals in your salad. I mean, there's ways you can incorporate things into your diet if you're not a per se, water drinker. But the key is be a water drinker.
Absolutely.
You know,
because it affects your entire
Everything.
body from the head down to the toes.
And if you start the
Everything
morning
in
with some
between.
fresh lemon water, you got the liver going and getting it to detox. You've just woken up from a fast, if you think about it. So you're getting the body to flush. Maybe, I don't want it. Maybe hot lemonade. Do some hot lemon. Doesn't have to be in cold water.
Now,
Do
hot lemonade is very good.
I love hot lemonade. I'm a huge fan.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
And then, as the day goes on, at the end of the day, one of the things I like to do is I make myself a hot cup of tea at night, and I put magnesium in it, powdered magnesium. So now I'm giving myself a mineral at the end of the night to help my body relax and go to sleep. So all I'm doing is helping that machine through the day. If I'm out in my garden and I'm working out and sweating is good. I go out in my garden with a wet rag around my neck and I sweat my butt off literally. And I have my mineral rich water I'm hydrating back with, but that's also where our body gets rid of toxins. And our body and our skin is so magical. It knows that it's perspiring out a toxin, but it doesn't reabsorb that toxin back in. It knows what it's doing. The key is sometimes is we take antiperspirants and don't sweat and everything's not good. We need to detoxify, and our skin is one of our largest organs for detoxification.
And
That's interesting too, because when you perspire, you lose a lot of sodium.
You do.
And you have to replenish that.
With real
Yes.
sodium that's not been processed, because once you heat it and make it pretty and white and put it in a jar, it's become a chemical. It's not what came out of the earth. It's not what's going to be in a chunk of salt that's come from the salt beds in Utah. It's not the same thing, because that salt that comes from those salt beds, if you look at it, it's brown, it's red, and what all that is that's the trace minerals. So that's what the trace minerals in the liquid that we're putting in the water, that's what that is. It's coming from that source. And we take in, unfortunately, because we've been taught sodium is so bad. It's so bad for us. Yes, the cooked processed sodium in our food is garbage, but real pink salt is raw. When you eat it, your body takes that and takes the molecules and breaks them down, and it helps you make hydrochloric acid so you can digest and detoxify the body better.
Well, I eat sea salt.
Me too. I do a pink salt, yes.
And, trying to shake it out of a salt shaker.
Dry rice. You put dry rice in the salt shaker, and it will
Really?
prevent it from clumping. Yes, because raw salt doesn't have clumping agents in it. Another one of those things you don't think.
Restaurants do that all the time.
Yep, I put salt, just some nice salt in the shaker, and then every time you shake, it's constantly broken up. I know. I had the same thing. You do it, and it goes
Right.
clunk.
Look.
It goes clunk.
I have to take the top
Yes.
off.
Oh yeah, you don't want to do that.
No, but if you put some
Put
dry
rice
rice
in.
in there,
Dry
Desiccates
rice.
it.
yep,
Yeah.
it keeps it
Oh,
keeps it
my
separated.
goodness.
Simple little things in life, right, Barb?
Yes.
You're learning from the show.
No
That's very good.
idea. I had no idea.
Because the salt that you buy in the store, why it doesn't clump is they put clumping agents in it. They put
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
in it to keep it to be it. And those, like I said,
It
those are
just
the
pours so easily.
beautiful, and it's white,
Ooh.
and it sparkles, and it's
Yes.
magical. Not.
No, I love
But
sea
again-
salt. But I'm glad you're here. Dry rice.
Easy, simple, and like I said, that's one of
That's
those
amazing.
things that salt, again, and salt should be added after you cook, because, again, if you're cooking with salt, if you're baking, that's different, but if you're cooking, you want to put it at the end, because sometimes, too, salt draws moisture out of your vegetables and stuff, so it's, whatever, but that way, when you're cooking and you put it on at the end, you're not changing it by heating it up either. You're getting a nice raw salt.
Right. I
And-
never salt
yeah.
anything that I cook, ever.
I do at the end, and I even put salt on my granddaughter stuff, because as a little person, by giving her that, if we were eating as natural as you could, you would be getting that stuff from your plants, and it's going to help. You're going to have the enzymes from the right fruits and vegetables helping you digest your food. So same thing with her. By giving her that pink salt, I'm keeping her digestion at an optimal level. Well, why is that important too? It's going to keep any parasites and bugs out of your system, just like it would do an adult or anyone else. Digestion is critical for keeping critters out of the body, but it's also going to make sure you break your food down properly so that food can be used as a micronutrient and not a toxin. Because if the food sits in your gut too long and you're not digesting it, it's going to rot. It's going to ferment. That's what heartburn is you're getting all that gas and your body's dumping acid trying to digest it. It's like trying digest a rock. It isn't going anywhere. But if we can start young and keep our hydrochloric acid and our digestion at an optimal, then we're going to prevent the need to have digestive enzymes until later in life. And that's kind of what it's about. This is a perfect machine. We just burn it up weird from the wrong ends with, our super drinks and our, and some people are really trying to do the right thing. They're buying something. And I watched a thing the other day I think it was on Facebook, and a person had 15 waters. Smart water, this water, that water, this company's water, and they did a test on it. And it would have really made you disgusted to see what color and how acidic. Some of those waters were more acidic than a soda.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
That's pretty powerful. And here you think I'm doing a good thing by drinking this water, and this water was orange in the cup. Now, some of the waters, the Trader Joe water, it tested beautiful. It was blue-purple. There were some that tested beautiful. There were some that tested very, very poor that were very commonly seen in many outlets.
On Facebook, where you
it was
saw
on
that?
Facebook, I believe, yes. But again, if you kind of, the world is, do a little Google search, you never know what you might find. But it was just a water demonstration showing acidity. I think it was on, actually, somebody had posted it from YouTube is how I ended up going to it. But it was just a demonstration of the acidity of bottled water. And so if you took that water, and let's say that water you had, and you took it and it was orange in the cup, and you put a few of those trace minerals into the water, that water would turn a blue-purple. It would bring the alkalinity up. The key with those bottles is you're getting chemicals in the plastics that you want to make sure that those bottles are as sound as they can be. That's my biggest issue too with that, because there's a lot of hormone disturbers in the plastic.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
That's
So
right.
it's one of those.
We're getting poisoned.
We are. So
And
you
especially
gotta.
when it stays in the car, and
That's the
heated,
worst, Barb.
it's even worse.
And the thing, my thing is this, and I had worked in the grocery industry for many years, and I've sure you can drive around and see there's a lot of places that have their pallets of water sitting outside.
That's true. They
In the sun.
In the sun.
I mean,
And you
Here in
don't-
Santa Clarita,
I know.
112 degrees.
Exactly. And you do not know where that product has come or how it's come.
Yes.
So that's the whole, it is a hard line. But the key is this, is your water that's coming out of your tap, you can do a very simple filtration system on that to get your major stuff. And by putting trace minerals into that water, you're going to help that water be at least something that is nutritional to the body, as opposed to something that could be a detriment. Because again, you're right. You don't think about how many people are grabbing these bottles of water and they're throwing it in the car, and wow, little kids, it's better to give my child this bottled water, or this senior this bottled water. Yeah, but if it's a hormone disruptor, it could cause things to grow or cause things to malfunction in ways that
yeah, it's not good for the body.
Not good for the body.
no, not at all.
Well, and I think we need to take a break. I see Evil Eye over there. So we'll take a break. And be
Either that
back
or
in
you
a-
can't breathe. One or the other. Something's going on.
We'll take a break. And I'm Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS.
Are you looking for unique gifts and home decor plus the latest in women's fashions? Look no further than Santa Clarita's favorite destination store, Cobblestone Cottage. You'll find 4,000 square feet filled with everything that makes a woman's heart go a-flutter. They are a nationally recognized Brighton Heart store carrying handbags, jewelry and footwear. You will find other top lines such as Vera Bradley and Pandora. Cobblestone Cottage in the River Oaks Shopping Centre by Target. Log on to cobblestone-cottage.com.
Aloha, friends! We invite you to come by Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brewed coffee. What makes our coffee special is how our organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. We're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons Avenue and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha!
It isn't often when we see a company launch in Santa Clarita and become an international sensation. In 2010, Jen Gerard founded Whitening Lightning in her Valencia kitchen. Now it's a booming international sensation. Leading actresses and international models have switched to Whitening Lightning to avoid the mess, hassle, and sensitivity of other products. Whitening Lightning's simple Dial a Smile kit will dramatically turn your teeth whiter in just 20 minutes. Rediscover how white your teeth can look. Visit whiteninglightning.com. whiteninglightning.com.
At Advanced Audiology, we know how important hearing is to you, your loved ones, your work success, your safety, and your ability to stay in the game. Most people won't admit hearing loss to themselves or others. We make it easy for you. Today's digital hearing aids come in a variety of styles, including invisible. All feature-rich, providing unparalleled hearing quality, wearing comfort, and automation that simplifies your life. Don't be fooled by our imitators. There's only one Advanced Audiology with the purple sign next to AAA on Valencia Boulevard.
Hometown station. Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64?
I saw that too.
This is Barbara Cochran with my co-host, Dr. Jean Dorio, on your hometown station, KHTS. And we are speaking with Kim Wall, an alternative medicine advocate. Woo-hoo.
You go, girl.
Stands for AMA.
Yes.
I don't know about that, Lynn. We need to change it.
Well, can we pick up
Yes.
on this article?
Yes, it was one of the things I was actually going to talk about today because I follow the radio station on Instagram, and I saw that article talking about the what would we call it, a summit, I guess, a gathering at the Castake Sporting Complex in August to discuss cannabis and the
That's right.
legalization of it in the state of California. And I hope that those people that have questions can show up there and get the knowledge they need to understand the legalities, and that maybe some of these seniors can get some cannabis cards because the medical cannabis will not be taxed. It will be a different price and rate than they're going to do for the over-the-counter. But I am really a huge advocate of medical cannabis, and I really hope that some of these doctors can get on board and take part of this great movement that's happening. Because one of the things, I watched a documentary the other day on, and it was talking about in senior living centers and in care centers, the biggest problems they have are appetite, sleep, pain, and mood. And cannabis would address all of that.
Every
and
single one of them.
And the thing with it is it is not going to keep them in a heroin, oxycodone, sleeping pill, stupor. And I can say this because I witnessed this with my own grandmother at the end, and I know that was what their tool of choice was to medicate her into whatever. Oblivion. But I hope that everybody goes to this thing in August, and they go in there and they get their questions answered, and we make a turn in our world. Because let me tell you what, how many people die every single day from opiates? Correctly prescribed drugs are the fourth leading cause of death in America. That's right. Cannabis has not killed anybody.
That's
Cannabis
right.
is not going to do. We have the cannabinoid receptors in our brains. Our government in 2003 put a patent out for cannabinoids to help repair Alzheimer's, dementia, AIDS-induced dementia, and strokes. How come is it I can't go right now if I had a stroke and go in there and get cannabinoids to heal me? And yet my government, who says it's a class 1 drug with no medical
Schedule 1
benefit,
drug, that's correct.
no medical benefit, has taken a patent out on it. I'm smelling some stink in the chicken house is all I'm going to say.
But they are doing research around the world, which is going to aid us in trying to evaluate.
And the key is it's already been done.
Yeah.
It's just now bubbling up.
It is out there.
Yes.
You need to go on the internet and
or show up to these places, ask the questions. There's actually on the link on the station here, there's an actual link on there that you can go to. I think it was cannabis.lacounty.org or something, and it talks to get yourself more information. And I would highly recommend people to educate yourself, because let me tell you what, there's a huge problem in this valley with heroin, and people die from this. And you know what? People need to wake up. Cannabis is not the cure-all, but if our bodies have cannabinoid receptors in our body, in our brain, in our immune system, then there's a reason that plant was put on this earth.
That's right. And you don't die from it.
No, you're not going to die. You're not going to have an
I used
opiate
it
overdose.
when I was going through chemo.
Yep.
And
Life-changing.
it stopped the pain immediately.
Because the same thing that Tylenol and these drugs work on, that cannabinoid receptor site, is the same cannabinoid receptor site that cannabis works on, yet it's not going to destroy my kidneys. I think I'll try that over the other. Thank you very much.
I feel like a Oreo cookie. I'm a Doreo cookie.
You're stuck in the middle.
I got two women on my side here
that are very
which I agree
passionate
with.
about this.
And cannabis oil, rubbing it on your
Magical. Yes.
Oh,
Very
it's
good.
wonderful.
Yes. And everybody has to get past the whole smoking thing, because it's not that.
When you come back, Kim, let's talk about
Let's
this.
do
This
it.
is
I
an
got
important
some
topic,
great
'cause
info, and I would love to
We
share.
have time, I think, between now and that the
Conference.
conference that they're going to have in Castaneda. Let's talk about that.
You got it, guys.
Kim Wall, Alternative Medicine Advocate, AMA.
We're going to have to change that. I'll come up with one.
Quite so. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks, guys.
Today. We
My pleasure.
appreciate it. We are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and Comfort Keepers in Home Care. Listen to us next week on the Senior Hour. Now go on and enhance your quality of life.